To whom agree? Greetings and salutations.
The universe is just doomed. 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 Doomed.
Let's pray in silence.
Wanna go tree climbing, Thomas J? His face hurts. And where is his glasses? He can't see without his glasses. Put his glasses on. Put on his glasses.
Hello,
Hi, welcome back.
it's us, Nicole.
And Tessa.
Welcome to Doom Generation.
Here we are, all alone.
No research assistant today.
Nope, we're flying blind.
And it is officially fucking summertime.
Oh, yes. So if you hear a slight hum in the background, whatever.
That is my air conditioning because it was 101 degrees today.
Yep, it was 101 Dalmatians, and we said nay.
Usually we suffer through it, but we're too old for this.
Nah, we're too old for that shit.
But we're not
Danny
talking
Glover
about
it.
Lethal Weapon today.
No, we're not. We're not. We don't mean to lead you astray.
We are talking about My Girl.
Not yet.
Nope. Not till the very end, right? Does it
No,
play
it's
it
in the
earlier?
Beginning too.
Oh,
isn't it?
okay. Opens with that too.
In the beginning. No, at the very, very end. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
And so I had not watched this century.
This millennia.
And I didn't even realize until I looked at the date that I was Vada's age when
Yeah.
this came out. So when I saw this, it was very like
I feel
close to
by the time I saw it, I was about.
about that age.
Yeah.
And I was a little weirdo too. Not a I have dead bodies in
No.
my house kind of weirdo.
No, I didn't grow up
But
in a
I
funeral
loved
home.
grossing out other kids, especially the boys. If I would have thought to charge them for any, I don't think I had
know,
anything
right?
gross
Like,
enough to charge
no.
them for. It was always like, watch me peel this scab off in front of you, or like
No, or I'll put hot glue on my hands, or
peel it off, or doing the pins through your calluses and whatever you could. Whatever you
that
could
was a big
find.
one. Because I had a lot of calluses because I'd be on
Monkey
the bars all
bars.
the time.
Oh yeah, that's where I would have been. I would have also been out riding my bike, but
Yeah.
we didn't live close to the woods.
No, there was no dock. There was no creek.
No.
There was no.
So it wasn't that close to home, but just because of the age and because I was
Right.
a little weirdo.
And it's like a coming of age.
I don't think I had any crushes on my adult teachers when I was 11, though.
No.
But I think I also had lady teachers then.
I didn't have any good looking teachers. I didn't have any like young
It took
until
till
I
high
was
school, I
in
think,
like
yeah.
once I was in high school, but even then they were girls. And I did not
Yeah, didn't.
it wasn't
happen.
for me. There was none of them. I've never had a crush on a teacher. Never been hot for a teacher.
I feel like I must have, but it's not standing out. It wasn't anything major. Not where I would go to summer school to see
Oh
them.
no. Well, I mean, she wrote that ode to ice cream. Like,
Yes.
she also wanted to be a writer.
She
so
did.
It stands to reason. Like, not only did she have a crush on the teacher, but she also wanted to take a creative writing class. So
And she is Anna Chlumsky?
Chlumsky,
Vada Sultenfuss.
Sultenfuss.
What a last name.
I know, what a handle. Well, that's what the guy says. Like, so, but
Right?
she likes her name,
She
so
does.
fuck you.
She does.
Lil Macauley Caulkin as Thomas J. Sennett.
Dan Aykroyd as Harry Sultenfuss.
Jamie Lee as Shelley DeVoto.
Richard Masur as Phil Sultenfuss, which forever to me, he's the dad from License to Drive because I saw that movie more, I swear, than any other movie.
I know.
At a certain age, and that's him
He's
to
that
me.
guy.
Yep.
He's that guy. Griffin Dunne as Mr. Bixler.
Ann Nelson as Gramoo Sultenfuss.
Peter Michael Getz as Dr. Welty.
And now I wrote, because I saw Nancy Chlumsky as Jackie, but I don't know who Jackie is.
I don't know who Jackie is either. I did write down, however, Anthony R. Jones, who is Arthur. The guy that
Oh,
works
yes,
at
the assistant, the assistant. And then I wrote down Tom Villard as Justin, just because that guy's in so many things.
Uh-huh.
His face was so familiar
Yes,
to me.
I was like, oh, it's that guy again, the hippie
Yeah.
guy again. Yay.
So this one is going to be a little sentimental, you guys. If you've
It
never
might
seen
get a
My
little
Girl,
sad.
it's going to get a little bit sad at a
It might
few
get a
points
little
here.
sad. I'm sure you've heard.
And if you've not seen it, it's on Tubi.
Yeah.
Along with the sequel.
The sequel, which
My
we
Girl,
both
too.
also watched
We
right
did.
after watching My Girl.
So we'll give you a little
So
short
we'll give
synopsis
you a
of
little
that.
taste. Give you a little taste. Because we could do whatever we want. It's our show.
And so Vada, we open on Vada talking to the camera
Right.
about all her afflictions.
I was born jaundiced. She sat on a truck stop toilet and got hemorrhoids. She's had a chicken bone stuck in her throat for 3 years, and now her latest affliction.
Dad, my left breast is developing faster than my right, and
It's
I'm dying.
cancer. I'm
Yeah,
dying.
I'm dying. And he's just making sandwiches,
like-
and he's like, "Can you hand me the mayo?"
Sure. Yeah, he's like heard this before. You could
Yes.
tell apparently this is their dynamic. And we're in Madison, Pennsylvania.
1972. Mm-hmm. And 5 little boys are waiting on the doorstep, including Thomas J.
Right.
And she's inviting them in, but he's passing. He's like,
Right.
"Nah, I'm gonna go home."
So y'all want to see a dead body?
Literally. So she's asked these boys for money to take them down to the. Well, first she takes them into the room for the showroom for the coffins.
Right. And she like, okay, everybody, like everyone's paid up or whatever. Give me your money. And she's like, all right, lean in. And when she opens the coffin, it's empty. And they're
It's
like,
just empty.
oh, what a ripoff.
And she's like, "Well, sometimes they're not all the way dead when we get them."
Right. Sometimes they get up and walk around.
And they're like, "You're full of shit."
And she's like, all right, well, let's go look and see. So she opens up the other little thing and she's like, oh, shit.
There's
Well,
an
she
old
doesn't say
woman
that,
in a
but there's-
rocking chair,
and she's like,
perfectly
there
still.
she is. And like she's all still, and then she starts rocking really slowly. She's staring off into space, and
They just run off out of the house.
Oh, and then
that's Gramoo.
Now, yeah, she goes up and gets in her lap, and you can tell that
Yeah, Grandma's not all there.
no, she's not.
And so that's your introduction to the fact that this is a funeral parlor.
Everything you need to know about this movie happens in the first 15 minutes. I made a note about that. Like,
Really?
every single thing that you need to know about the dynamic of everything.
Yeah.
As actually, you know what? I take that back. It's in the first 15 minutes, 59 seconds, because that is when they mention that Thomas J is allergic to everything.
everything.
But by the first 60 minutes, everything is explained to you. So
Okay,
first we have all of this happens. Dad calls up there for Vada to bring him his smokes. And he's down in like the embalming room.
Yeah, he and his assistant Arthur are embalming a body. And he's
His
talking
high
about it
school
was his
teacher,
high school
his shop
teacher.
teacher.
And she won't look. So you see
Right.
her, she comes down the stairwell and she just kind of like talks to him from behind the wall.
She won't come down any further. And he was like, just put my smokes on the...
His menthol Winstons or whatever
Cools.
or was it Cools?
I don't know. It was green and white.
Yeah.
So that's how you know they were menthols. That's the only reason that you would know. So Vada and Arthur have this cute little exchange, but Harry, her dad, is like...
trying to work.
I'm embalming my high school teacher. Can we not sing while I'm doing this? I've got he's nude. He's got his dick out. He's
Right?
dead.
Please. Can you go?
Yeah. He taught me how to make a fucking tie rack. Is that what they were talking
Something
about?
like that, yeah. So she goes on her way up the stairs. She sees the cause of death is listed as cancer of the prostate.
Right.
So Jamie Lee pulls up in an RV outside.
Yes, here come a camper, and Vada answers the door and lets her in, and she's there for the makeup job.
But yeah, first Vada's given her the "Have you recently lost a loved one?" spiel,
Have you
and
had
she's
the
like,
unfortunate experience of recently losing a loved one?
"She's like, can I see your dad?"
Right, I'm actually here to see your dad. She's like, yeah. So she calls up for her dad. He comes up, and she starts.
And she says, "We spoke on the phone."
right. So she
You didn't
called-
clarify on the phone
No, that this is
on dead
for
people.
for a morgue, or he didn't answer the phone like Sultenfuss funeral parlor.
They just call it because the sign outside just says Sultenfuss Parlor.
Oh,
Or no.
oh, she
yeah,
thought
that's
was
what it
like
said. I'm pretty
salon
sure.
Parlor?
Yeah, or salon, something like
Beauty parlor.
She thought it was a beauty parlor, but it's a funeral parlor. And so he
Okay,
didn't
all
clarify on the phone, but when he sees her and how she's dressed, he's like, "You do realize this is for dead people?" And she's like, "Your ad just said makeup artist."
Right. So,
I did not know this.
yeah.
And a new coffin gets delivered, and here right away with
right
the
away,
foreshadowing.
yeah. Again,
A child-sized coffin is delivered to the home.
Vada asks her dad, like, why is it so small? Is it for a kid? He's like, no, of course not. They come in all sizes like shoes.
It's for very short people.
Right. Of course it's not for a child.
And Shelly still wants a job.
Yeah, she's like, you know what?
I'll take it.
I would still like this job. I'm ready to start
Right away.
whenever. Yeah. So he's like, all right, cool.
And then he asked her, is what you're wearing normal for work? I mean, I like it very much.
Right.
But
It looks really good, but like,
she's wearing like kind of a
it
mini
looks very
skirt
60s.
kind of go-go.
She's got the
Yeah.
go-go boots and the mini skirt with the little scarf ensemble
Mm-hmm.
vest. She's got little earrings. It's cute, but I mean, she's going to be down there doing the makeup and shit on the dead.
Nobody's going to care.
I mean, she could tap dance down there like Drop Dead Gorgeous.
She could get naked and put an apron on. And
Well,
do
I'm
makeup.
pretty sure that's frowned upon. I don't think it's not like cutting up cocaine where they make you do it naked so that
they
you don't
know you're not
steal
stashing
it.
any. You're not
Like-
stashing any dead bodies, are you? Under a
Right,
titty?
under your titty. Under my titty
Girl,
flap.
Let me see. Lift that titty.
Lift that titty.
Every
Bend
day
over
before
and
she
cough.
leaves.
Nothing in your butt locker before you go.
So Vada goes out to ride bikes with Thomas J.
Mm-hmm.
And again, and so like they're very dangerous. They're riding down alleys that say no bikes. that
Right.
are like
the guy
blind
like,
alleys.
hey, get the fuck out of here. What are
Yeah.
you doing?
And she goes to the doctor's office.
Yes, they write it right down there, and so they're like, "Oh, hey."
The
Vada,
nurse knows
what's up?
her.
What's
Like,
up
What's up
today?"
today? I'm very sick.
Right.
And so she's like, she goes in and sees a doctor, and he's like, "You're perfectly healthy."
And she's like, "Are you sure? Because I have like all the
classic
symptoms."
And he's like, "Did they bring Mr. So-and-so to your house
So
today?"
she's telling the doctor that
she has
she's got prostate
cancer.
cancer.
Did
And
he
she's like,
explain
"They
to her
didn't-"
she doesn't have a prostate? Because that could solve this problem today. Just for
That
today.
could solve this
Today's
problem today.
Today's problem.
problem today. She could. Well, I would imagine because there's like things cut out of it that he
Right.
would have said like, "Did they bring him over to your house because you don't
Yeah.
have a prostate?" And I feel like you're saying this because.
But she leaves all in a huff. She's like, "I'll just have to get a second opinion."
Well, yeah, I guess no. I guess
So
he
as
doesn't
she-
explain anything because she leaves
yeah, mad about his
before.
diagnosis.
Go to the library and look it up.
so
Check it
Thomas
on WebMD.
J-
What are you doing?
There's no WebMD in 1972. So Thomas J wants to know what's wrong with her, and she's like, "The whole medical profession is a crock." They
Right.
just take off.
Yeah.
And they do banana fana for fana.
Yeah, be my banana. Banana. I don't know. We were doing.
They were
I don't
doing
even know
Veda's
Veda.
name.
Yeah,
They were
that's
doing
what,
Veda's
that's what
name.
it was.
And then they're singing ooh ee
Ooh ah ah ting ting walla walla bing bang. Ooh ee ooh ah ah ting ting walla walla bing bang. Ooh, we're gonna sing that song again.
Yeah, that's in the Chipmunk movie, right?
I think so.
Is it?
Or is it Woolly Bullies?
Oh,
I think it's Woolly Bullies.
we'll find a reason to sing it.
We'll sing it
regardless.
anyway.
It's
We'll
Chipmunk
sing
related.
it anyways.
So they stop because they see Mr. Bixler, a teacher,
Yeah,
painting
he's
an old
a-
house.
Painting an old house, and he's like, "Oh hey, what's up?" I guess he was their teacher the previous
Yeah, and he's
school
like,
year.
it's talking about it's summer break.
Right, like how you know,
Or
you
he's
get
going to
that-
be your teacher next year because she's like, I already finished the summer reading list.
Oh,
so
maybe
he gave them a
they
summer
already
reading
know.
list.
Maybe they already know. So yeah, so she's 12 or no, 11 and a
11.
half. So what's
Yeah.
that? 5th grade?
Probably, yeah. That
Okay.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
And so she tells him she's now reading War and Peace for fun.
fun.
And
he's like, it's
summer.
summertime. Like,
Do something
relax.
else.
Your kids, go play.
And he talks about he's doing a summer writing course
Yeah.
and it's $35. And she's like, oh, all right.
Can anybody take it? And he's like, well, yeah, I guess so. Because that's what she's like, how can you afford this house?
It's an old fucking
Nosy
house in
ass
1972.
kid?
It was probably
Well,
like
that nosy ass
$20,000.
kid?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Sassy.
Don't question
When you're not
me.
working. So
Shut up.
whatever.
How do you expect to support us, Mr. Bixler?
She's already thinking about your future. And so Thomas J wants to go pick peaches, but she's like, no, I want to go home.
Right?
And she goes home and puts a 4,500 record player.
Bill! I love him so, I always will. This is Bill Paxton's song.
And she takes a photo of Mr. Bixler. Well, it's
Oh,
the
she's
class
like the
photo,
close-up,
but
but
she's
she's
got
got a little
Bixler's
heart.
hearted face.
Oh, she's in love with Mr. Bixler. She's hot for teacher.
She is. And that night at dinner,
It's like
She's,
kind
like,
of
lying
chaotic.
dead on the
Like,
floor.
Uncle Phil is there. She's lying on the floor. Shelly and Gramoo is there. Like Gramoo is singing Gershwin. Shelly is like, "What the fuck?"
yeah, and
is
she's like, it's
going
my
on.
prostate, and she passes
It's
out.
like, oh,
And Dad
okay.
and Phil are just ignoring this.
They're just having a conversation over the Gershwin and the prostate.
and Shelly's just looking at them like, this family's insane.
This is a wackadoo fam.
So the next day, Shelly goes out and Vada and Thomas J are playing cards on the porch.
Right. And like these little mean girls.
In front
of
of an
adult.
adult.
Bitch, I wrote that same.
In front of, I would never.
No,
I
this
would
is
talk
a
lot of
bold
shit to some
fucking-
kids as a kid, but not in front of a
Not
teacher,
like
a
that.
parent,
I don't know
a
who that
stranger.
woman is.
That could be her mom. You don't know.
Well, maybe
they
they
know her
probably
mom's
know her
dead,
mom
but
is
like,
dead. But like, it's a small little idyllic town. I'm pretty sure.
When you'd think the little girls would be scared of her because she's the creepy girl who lives in the house with all the
right?
dead bodies.
Like,
they
you
got
better fucking watch your fucking
I would've
mouth
been like,
before
I'm
I
a-
bury you.
right.
I could get rid of you.
I'm
I
gonna
got a
come
crematorium.
chloroform your shit.
Yeah, bitch, I will chloroform your shit.
I did not. Yeah. So they are
I
teasing
wrote
her.
the
Oh,
same
Thomas
thing,
J,
like,
your boyfriend.
Oh, Thomas and Vana sitting in a tree. And like little Judy.
Yeah, she's all sad.
And
She wants to.
Is it her?
In the beginning of the.
Well, no,
the
no,
friend.
no, not
the
her.
actual actress.
No. Is it her that has the hookup at the movie house? Who's got the hookup at the
No,
movie
I think that
house?
was one of the mean girls.
Oh, I was going to say, these little bitches will be like, then fine, you bitches don't get to go.
Right.
Y'all want to go?
Because the girl in the back, she seems like she wants to be friends. She
Mm-hmm.
walks away all sad, like she's still trying. Well, she tried to invite her, like maybe you could come sometime, and they're like,
they're
ew.
ew, no, she's going to want to bring that little weirdo, Thomas J.
And what's wrong with Thomas J?
I know, he's
He's
adorable.
just an adorable little boy.
He's the same age as the rest of them. He's not like little, is he? I mean,
No,
like
I don't
he's
think
little.
so.
Lil Macauley Caulkin doing great.
And so Shelly, she just kind of sits there smiling while all this happens.
I know. She's like,
And then she's like, "Oh, you really shouldn't let them upset you." And she's like,
they don't.
"They don't. I only surround myself with people I find intellectually stimulating."
I mean, I guess that she's like gotten enough out of Vada that she realizes that she don't give a shit
I
about.
guess.
She just wants to see how this unfolds. Everything is a social experiment to Shelley.
She's like a single 30-something, so
She
actually
reads
she's probably supposed
romance
to be
novels.
29.
She talks about like zodiac signs and like reads romance novels. I bet she a little woo woo, lives in a camper.
Yep.
You know, she's just watching, vibing.
And she offers the kids some chocolate, and that's when we find out that Thomas J is allergic. And she's like, "To
15
chocolate?"
minutes and 59 seconds in. I made a note. Oh, for real, they tell you everything.
To
So
chocolate, to
Thomas J,
everything.
He's allergic to everything. The coffin is child-sized. Everybody kind of picks on Vada. Shelly shows up.
There's an
Mom
obsession
is
with
dead.
death.
There's like a little thing, like you could already see that that's going to be a thing between Dad and Shelly. And like it's all set up for you. 15, 16 minutes in.
And Shelly notices Vada's mood ring. And
Oh, yeah.
Thomas tells her it's always black. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Only when you're around, because you put me in a bad mood."
Right? She's kind of mean to him.
I was mean to my little best
I
friend.
know.
And she asked Shelly, how can she get the money for her writing class? And Thomas is like, "Oh, the teacher is her sweetheart."
Right. And she was like, no, I need like $35 to take a class.
like,
She's
"Well,
like,
just
did you
ask
ask
your
your
dad."
dad? And she's like, well,
He won't give it to me.
she's like, well, have you tried?
And
you should
you don't-
ask him.
Yeah, so she does. So he's watching. He is busting
All
up
in the
at
family.
All in the Family.
He fucking loves this guy.
When the fucking so there's
Achibunka.
the classic TV station on Pluto, because I
Yeah.
like to just leave it on streaming.
Yeah.
And they'll play like Mama's Family and shit, so I'll turn that on.
Yeah.
And after Mama's Family, and I as soon as it starts, I can't. I run from wherever I am in the house to change the channel.
Every time I think of
Oh, it's so bad.
Edith Bunker, I think of that picture of her in that leather bustier hanging out with Kiss.
That's right. That's right. I've
She
seen
was
that.
probably only like 35.
Oh man.
We're
I
older
can't
than
handle
Edith
All in
Bunker.
the
We're
Family.
like, I bet you we're older than Archie Bunker.
Possibly
I bet you we're older than Archie Bunker.
research assistant.
Oh.
Look that up.
Maybe we will on the break. Maybe we'll remember. I'm going to look
Maybe.
up Archie
We'll see.
Bunker. I'm
We'll
just going
see.
to type it in so that when I look at my phone on the break, I'll be like, oh.
So she goes to ask her dad for this money while he's watching All in the Family,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Yeah, you also wanted to play violin and be
Right.
a ventriloquist."
You wanted to do all kinds of shit. So maybe next summer.
And she's in her head. She says something about, and
Like,
he
yeah,
forgot
I
about. I also
Wanted to be a magician.
Magician.
I was really good at making myself disappear.
Oh.
Oh, she's dramatic.
So the next day or sometime, there's no continuity to when this is. It's always the next day.
Summertime. It's summertime. It's right. It's before. It's June. It must be because it's before July 4th because that's coming up again.
So Vada's bouncing her basketball inside, and Arthur's trying to give her some tips as he comes through.
Right. He's giving her dribbling tips, and the ball.
He leaves the basement door open when he comes out.
Right. And the ball goes downstairs, and she goes down.
The music gets all scary.
I know. And she goes down to get it, and Shelly, not realizing that she's down there, shuts the door. And it's jammed, and she can't get out. She fucking flips.
She is panicking, and she starts
like, do I did it?
She covers her ears,
and she's
like
not in there
on the
for very
door.
long. Like Shelly hears her, and she tries
Right
to
away,
get it.
yeah.
Like it's a little jam, but she gets the door open and lets her out. She's like, what the fuck happened?
So later, Shelley's working on Mrs. Porter, and she asks Harry to take a look, and he's like, didn't I give you a picture?
Right? She was like, well, nobody looks like this anymore. She did.
She did. She's the
school
Reverend's
marm
wife.
thing was not a look. She was
An old school marm.
An old school marm. What that also reminds me of Drop Dead Gorgeous. Like this $2 whore was their loving mother.
Right? So she's like, I think she looks nice. He's like, just fix it.
Just
no glow ups for the dead man.
no, like that. She's beyond that now. They
Well,
want
and
her
it'll freak people out if they show up and there's like
Right?
my grandma, at this same age, at 11 years old, my grandma died, and I saw my first dead body. I went to the funeral, and it was open casket, but she died in Georgia, and she had family in 3 states, and California was the last state to get her. So she had
went on
been
tour?
dead. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
She had been dead.
Oh, that's glamorous.
And when I saw her, so she was, I think, in her 70s or something when she died, and she was pretty wrinkly the last time I had seen her, but she had no more wrinkles anymore.
She looked like she had Botox
And I
fillers.
remember asking my mom, why would they put purple lipstick on Grandma?
Oh, but they didn't.
No.
No.
But so just that, and that wasn't anything the makeup artist did, but like.
It was just because she went on tour.
Yeah.
Time.
And I don't remember really being freaked out by it or traumatized, but that was just the first time I saw a dead body, and it was weird. It was just like.
I didn't see a dead body until I was in high school.
I think I disconnected because it didn't look like my grandma. Like I knew my grandma was dead, but like my brain didn't accept that's who I saw in that casket. And not that I thought she's secretly alive somewhere, but just that
you understood it enough to know that she was dead.
But in my brain, it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm looking at my grandmother's dead body. It was just like, no, it's just a weird thing.
It's not really a thing in my like open caskets aren't really a thing in my family. Like nobody wants an open casket.
That might be the last time. That might have been the only time I saw.
No one's really into it. I've only been to a couple open caskets, and I don't do that.
You don't go up to the...
No, because I don't want to be the last thing I see.
Yeah, I
don't want to be
think
that
maybe
last
that's
thing
why
I
I
see.
never have since, is because
I
was
don't like to do like the whole in the ground, like the whatever. Like my last thing is my last thing. Not that. I don't want that because it doesn't look right.
No,
it doesn't look right. I don't know. This got dark. It's taking a turn.
So Shelly asks Harry if something's wrong with Vada, and he's like, "No,
she's fine. Like,
she's perfectly happy. And don't give me advice about my child."
Right? Like, why are you talking to me? You shut up.
So now Uncle Phil's out there playing jump rope with the kids, and is he drunk?
I don't know.
He seems kind of like
he's Uncle Phil, man. He's Uncle Phil.
Well, they say something later about he was in Korea or something, and that he came
got
back
a metal
different.
plate.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem weird.
He's not like childlike. He's not like Forrest Gump. He didn't like get. He's not Cousin Eddie.
No,
is that where Cousin Eddie got the thing?
Oh.
Or Vietnam, probably.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
That
was later, so yeah, probably.
Or before. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe the same. But yeah, so he's playing jump rope. He's fun ass Uncle Phil. And that's when Shelly pulls up.
And Vada's like, "Hey, can we go check out your camper?"
Right. We want to go look inside. She's like, "Yeah, sure, it's cool." Like she's got a nice little setup.
Yeah.
She's got a real nice little setup in this little camper.
I loved my grandparents' RV. They didn't live in it. But when we would go camping, you stayed in the RV, and it had like the table that converted into the little bed. And when you were 11, that was rad.
Thing
yeah,
and, like, the table that came down. Yeah,
a tiny television.
My
Little fridge.
great-grandma had one, or my grandparents had one that my great-grandma was staying in one time, like when they were building their house. And I was in there in my great-grandma's trailer, and I was like not thinking about it because I wasn't old enough to understand. I used the bathroom. And she
And
was
it
like,
connected?
nope. She was like, so what did you do in there? And I was like, I just peed. She was like, okay,
Thank God.
that's fine. I mean, don't do
And
that
that's
anymore.
when she
but,
brings
like,
up later, like, when they want to go see the. Well, no, they didn't want
she
to
was
see
like,
the bathroom, but she has to
well,
use the bathroom.
She says that she's got to
She
use the
don't.
bathroom, but she don't. So they're looking around this little thing. She's looking at all her books.
She found some smut on the bookshelf.
She's like, oh, hey, no, don't.
That's for adults.
Yeah, like it's about love and
Ew, gross.
titties and booties and fucking dicks.
And Vada asks her if she's married, and she says she's divorced.
Right.
My
And-
father says it's bad when people divorce.
Oh, come on. Sure.
And Thomas asks if he can have a cookie and just opens
I
up that
know,
cookie
like you're
jar.
allergic to everything.
What if they got nuts? What if that's full
Or
of peanut butter
chocolate.
cookies? I know what kind of cookies don't have nothing in them. Like
No,
what
no
is-
nuts, no chocolate. What fucking cookie? An oatmeal cookie? You think Shelly
has oatmeal cookies?
raisin cookies in her fucking gluten-free,
If there was
non-allergen?
cookies in there, they would have been weed cookies. First of all,
Probably.
Living
Shelly
that
strikes
camper
me
life.
as the type that
Yes.
like she likes to spark a doob in her camper, read her smut novels.
but it's full of cash.
Oh shit! She
She's
found her
saving for a
stash, her
rainy
cash
day.
Stash.
And she got a cuckoo clock in that camper that goes off.
I made a note about the cuckoo clock. I want a cuckoo clock.
I
so
do
bad.
too.
I know we got the Kit Kat clocks,
But now we got to get a
but
cuckoo
now I need a
clock.
cuckoo clock.
So she's got to go to work, but Vada's like, oh, well, Thomas J takes off, and he's got to go home for lunch.
He's got
when
to
the
go
cuckoo
home.
clock
She's
goes
got to
off.
go to work. Well, she tells Shelly like you got to go
You're
to
gonna
work.
be
'cause
late.
My dad won't like that. Can I use your bathroom?
And why would she say yes? That
Your
thing's
house
not
is
connected.
right
You
there.
just pulled up, and
I
your house
know.
is right there.
No.
Because the only thing she'd have to do so bad she couldn't go in her house is have massive diarrhea in your camper
And don't
toilet.
do that in my camper.
No.
Don't do that in my camper.
So Shelly goes into work, and the next scene, it's the writing class, which...
Oh, mysteriously she made enough money somehow.
And now I was a little klepto. Like, I would take little small things from stores.
I never took
But I never
anything
took
from
money.
Anybody or money.
And not from people I knew.
No.
I took stuff from stores.
I mean, I stole cigarettes from my dad.
And I never... one time I stole it. Like, the first time I got really high, I stole a little bit of weed from my mom. But you know how much weed my mom had in
Well,
the
I
fucking
mean, like,
90s.
how would they know?
Yeah. It was
How
a
would they
pinch.
know?
Like, just enough
Yeah.
to fill a bowl I stole.
Yeah, no, the only thing I ever took was like sneaking cigarettes from my dad's
Yeah, no, I
pack.
never did that. I'm trying to think. I could have. My mom, when she used to do totally legal activities that meant she had wads of cash on her at all time.
Well,
she would have me go get the laundry out of the dryer.
Oh,
there
and there would just be money?
hundreds of dollars just rolling around in the dryer. And I could have taken it. She didn't know, but
Oh,
I always
you
was.
didn't?
I was a good kid. I took it
Well,
back.
I never did anything like that. It was just like little gorgeous things, like just little
I'd
shiny things.
It'd
I'm
be
like
dumb
a crow.
things in the craft store or something. It would
right,
be
like just something that caught my eye. That
and
I
not
just-
even that I didn't have money or didn't think my mom would buy it. It was like I didn't want to go stand in line for this 1.39 bead that caught my eye.
that caught my
So I
crow
just
brain.
put it in my pocket.
I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
I did that shit. But
it's
no, never
victimless
cash
crime.
from a
No,
lady
I
who
would-
was very
no,
nice
from-
to me.
No, I would feel like
She was so
I wouldn't
nice.
be able to do it.
No, I'd feel too bad.
I wouldn't be
I
able
would've
to
felt
do
too
it.
bad.
Yeah, no.
So she enters, and the teacher's like, "Oh, this class for adults," but the adults all think it's adorable.
Right, like no,
they're like,
this
"No,
is
let her
cool,
in."
man. Especially Justin over
They
there,
clap.
all hippie dude, like yay,
And then they do their poem readings, and when they get to Rhonda, she reads this like
flesh all a mesh.
her slightly inappropriate sexual poem about her boyfriend Justin,
Right,
who's all grinning from ear to
Hey,
ear
yep,
during
I
this
seen
poem.
them titties, yo.
And so Vada's got a poem.
Well, because is this for the other guy? I don't know what the other guy's name
The
is.
first, I think he does his poem
but
before
about like you
Rhonda
did not
even.
see my tree.
Yes,
You did not touch
and he's
my
all
grass.
angry.
I know. He like, you didn't hear my song.
He's writing
bitch.
slam poetry.
Slam.
Da,
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 da, da,
What did that come up the other day? Didn't that come up the other day? What were we talking about?
Fucking onyxes?
Yes, and then I
somehow?
said something about onyx, and now I fucking can't remember what it was.
I don't know. I
Anyway,
don't know, but it
maybe
was
we'll
funny.
remember. I remember we laughed.
I remember we laughed, but we usually do.
So Veda gets up and does her ode to ice cream.
She's got a poem, and after this flesh all a mess shit, she reads her little, ice cream is good when it is hot. I like it really a lot. I want to fucking eat some ice cream.
I
don't
didn't
know,
even write it down.
No, I didn't.
It's a
even.
child's poem.
Yeah, and he's like, but what about your, like, soul, though? Like, what about your...
You're not expressing what's
Your-
in your soul.
Yeah,
Show me how
like,
you
we gotta-
see the world.
I want to see world through your eyes and, like, whatever.
your
we got to
fears, your
express
innermost
all your...
secrets.
Well,
And in her head, she's like, I'm afraid I killed my mother.
right.
Like that's...
I thought she said it out loud.
I
was
did
like,
too at first, but I was like, okay, her mouth did not move during that part. I don't think that was just a thought because she does that a few times where she's just thinking something.
Right. And you're like, oh, shit. So,
So-
yeah.
Back at the house, Shelly hears Harry playing the tuba for his mother.
I'm just wild about Harry.
It's singing a little song.
Harry's wild about me.
And she gets a little...
I
She's
know.
like,
She's like, oh, that's really cute. Well, like, I don't know how he didn't think that no one was going to hear his tuba ass.
that's loud as hell.
Do you think, I bet you Dan Aykroyd really plays a tuba.
Oh,
He
I
strikes
bet.
me as a tuba
I
player.
bet.
He strikes me as a tuba player.
Where's my phone?
You're going to look it up right
I'm going
now.
to ask Google.
Is he really a... Do it. Do it.
Does Dan Aykroyd play the tuba? Oh.
Uh-oh. Murky results.
No.
Oh, no?
No.
Shut up.
He was coached by Harry Connick Jr.?
Harry Connick
No, hold
Jr.
up. No. Coached actor Dan Aykroyd on how to mimic a tuba player and recorded the tuba parts. Oh, no. John Allred, who's part of Harry Connick Jr.'s big band. That's why his name is in there. So, yeah. So, no, he does not play the tuba.
What?
I believe he's musical in other ways, though, right? He's a blues brother.
Well, yeah, but now I'm questioning a couple of things. He could sing.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he does that.
So Shelly comes in and is like, oh, the flowers were delivered. And he apologizes about being harsh about Veda.
Right. He's like, yeah, I went off a little bit. Like, yeah, Gramoo moved in, like, right after my wife died. She died, like, 3 days after Veda was born or some shit. And they were super close. And now he's like right in front of her. She could hear you.
I know. Her mind's been wandering more and more. And
More
ever
and
since
more.
Veda's been acting kind of crazy.
Right. So she's been acting out. So sorry. I went a little hard. She has been acting weird.
So now Thomas and Veda are fishing on this little pier. Their little private pier where nobody
I
else
know. No one
exists,
ever goes there.
And their weeping willow tree.
Which was created. They could not find a dock and a pier
Weeping willow
and a
together.
lake and a willow tree. So it's a tree. But they
I had a weeping willow tree we hung out at Shamel Park.
Oh,
out
really?
in front of Shamel Park, there was a huge one where sometimes
Is
they
it
would
still
let it go.
there? There's that
It
big
might
ass
be.
tree out there.
They would let it sometimes go where they didn't trim it, and you could get in there where it like cover, like you were in
Yeah.
a little fort inside the tree because it went all the way to the ground.
We used to live in a house that in the front yard there was a weeping willow tree that was,
I love those.
you know, whatever. And I used to go and I would sit out there in my own front yard.
Yeah, and I was definitely a tree climber. My parents had a magnolia
Yes.
tree, and I would climb that until
Any
they finally
tree that I
cut the
could
bottom
find.
branches off, so I couldn't
then you
reach
couldn't.
anymore.
Dicks.
I was older though when they did that. I was
My aunt and uncle had a big ass avocado tree in their backyard in Long Beach, and I used to get all up in there. You could climb all the because it was big. It was
Yeah.
an old avocado tree. It made so many avocados. It'd be worth billions.
I miss tree climbing.
I know.
But
I would never
hurt-
do it now.
I would hurt myself now.
I wouldn't be able to get down. I would worry that I would get up there.
Yeah,
then,
because there was you jumped down, and now my knees would
Oh
just fucking
no, just
turn to
buckle.
sand.
Buckle. I'm telling you, all my shit's made out of like saltine crackers now. It would just like
Dust.
dust.
So they're doing a little fishing. Thomas is up in the tree, but he
Right.
got his line in the
He's
water.
gonna be an
Veda's
acrobat.
down there, and he gets a little tug on his line. So he goes and gets his fish, but they're like, "Oh, throw it
she's
back."
trying to like pull the thing out. She's like, "You're hurting it, out.
She doesn't like to touch the fish, so she won't pull the hook, but he tries to take it out by stepping on the fish and pulling the hook
Right,
out of
and
its
she
mouth.
gets upset, and he throws it back in. She's like, "Did he make it?" And no, it didn't. But
he's like,
tells her
"Yes,
it did."
And then she wants to become blood brothers.
Well, yeah, because she like scratches her on the hook.
Yeah.
She like sticks herself with the hook, so she's bleeding. So he's like, "Ew, no."
And she's like, "Look, all you got to do is pick off that scab."
Pick a scab.
And I feel like I probably did blood brothers with somebody at some point, or blood sisters, but I don't remember.
think I ever actually did
I feel like
that.
I did, but maybe
It was
it's
the
just,
90s, bitch. Like, there was AIDS everywhere.
Maybe
like,
I just
was
saw it in
hyper
so many
aware.
movies.
Well, no, I did, but I also had seen a very special episode of Mr. Belvedere, a very special episode of Different Strokes, a very special episode of fucking
They all had their
all
very
of them.
special
Like everybody
episodes.
had one of those, so I was hyper aware. So I would never, ever.
And in another heavy foreshadowing moment, she tells him, she smears her blood with him and tells him, "Now we're blood brothers for life." Cut to dead fish floating.
Yes.
Like,
They're
we
all
already
dope.
saw that. We knew the fish was dead. The only
Guess
reason
what,
to pan to that
guys?
again.
Guess who that coffin is for?
Ugh.
You like that little kid, that little blonde, adorable, bespeckled child?
Don't
get too
attached. So Dad's back up at the office typing up a death notice.
Yeah.
When Shelly comes in to see what he's doing. Mm-hmm. And he tells her, and she starts reading the paper and reads one of his death notices.
Right, and they get all cute over obituaries.
Yeah, and she's like looking at movie listings, talking about, ooh, love story at the drive-in.
Oh,
I
seen
love
it. Like,
the drive-in.
It's super romantic and like
He turns back to his typewriter and
Like-
doesn't really say anything. And she starts to leave, and he's like, I do enjoy playing bingo.
I like bingo.
And if you would like to join me for a game at church, you're welcome to. And she's like,
Hot,
"Okay."
Harry. Hot. I mean, he's out of practice. We find that out here in a minute, but like
Well, it doesn't make any sense, though, later. So he says at one point coming up that he hasn't had a date in 20 years. Vada's only 11, and he was
Well-
only with her mom
oh yeah,
for a year.
like a year.
So, yes, he's still out of practice, but he hasn't not dated in 20 years. He's not dated in 12 years.
Well, I don't know, maybe he's just saying that. Maybe he didn't have a date for a really long time before.
Before Vada's mom.
Well, that still would only be,
yeah, less than 20 years.
you know what? Whatever. Maybe he's exaggerating. Maybe he's just saying 12, 20 years instead
Maybe.
of rounding it down. He rounded it up. But you got to round down because it's only 12. It's not 5 or above.
And before we find out if anybody gets a bingo, it's a perfect time to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hey, we're back. It's me, Lindsay.
And me, Chelsea.
I don't know why that came up, but off the air, we were talking about the things our parents almost named us.
Oh, because we were looking up the ages. You're Edith Bunker, and I'm Alice from the Brady Bunch. Like as far as ages goes, and that made me look up Lucy Ricardo, who was a lot younger at the time, but it was Lucille Desiree Ball, and I was like, oh, one of my names was almost Desiree, and also one of my names was almost Chelsea, and she was almost a Lindsay.
And a Billy
A
Joe.
Billy Joe. So it's either Doom Generation, brought to you by Lindsay and Chelsea, or Desiree and Billy Joe.
So
Those
you
are almost
let
our
us know your
names.
picks.
You let us know. Or if
DM
you
us.
like Tessa and Nicole, which we like.
Yeah, it'll be easier
Much
for us
better.
to remember, honestly, if you guys could just stay with
If we're not forced to change our name, like actually, Lindsay and Chelsea is super cute.
Lindsay and Chelsea bring you Doom Generation. So anyway, back to the
Anyhow.
movie. So Vada sees Shelly putting some lipstick on, and she's like, "Are you going out?" And she says, "Nope.
I just like to.
Girl's always got to look her best."
Well, she's a fucking makeup artist.
Of course, it's fun for her. That's
I
what she
know,
likes
like
to
that's
do.
what she likes to fucking do, like lay off.
And Vada's like, "I think it looks fake. No one's lips are that color." And she's like, "Well, come sit
here,
down."
like have a seat. Let me put some fucking lipstick on you. Then we'll see how you feel. And also, rule number 1: you can never have enough blue eyeshadow. In 1972,
I gotta disagree with you there, Shelly. As a makeup artist, I don't care what generation, what year, you can never have enough blue eyeshadow.
well, that's what she did for that old lady, the school marm.
Just fucking up to the eyebrows.
Yes, it looks good.
And she puts some lipstick on her. She teaches her to blot. And she asks her, "Do you think I'm pretty?"
Yes,
Vada
I
asks
think
her,
you're
and she's
pretty.
like,
Of course. She's like, you big blue eyes and a great mouth and beautiful blonde hair. Like, she is. She's cute. She got a little cherub face. She's a little cherub baby.
She's like, "Well, the boys at school don't think I am." And she's like, "They'll come around.
They'll come
I mean,
around.
you're 11. Boys don't even
I
like
know.
girls yet."
Relax. She's 11 and a half. Cool out.
And then, yeah, she puts more makeup on her, tells her about the blue eyeshadow,
Yes.
and tells her she really wants to do movie star makeup.
Right. That's what I want to do. I want to go to Hollywood.
And Vada sees herself in the mirror and tells Vada, "I'd hold off on that Hollywood thing."
Right.
Oh.
This shady little girl.
I mean, unless she's just doing $2 sex worker makeup on the scene of fucking
If she's doing
Matlock
Guns
or
N'
Columbo.
Roses music videos, or
There you go. There you go.
Columbo or Murder, She Wrote, if she does like the corpse of, actually probably more Columbo.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more Columbo's speed.
So Vada goes outside and lies on the step in front of
She's
Thomas
like-
J.
She comes out strutting, lays out. Like, I thought you didn't like it.
And he's like, "Is your lip bleeding?
She's
And what's
like,
wrong with your
"No."
eyes?" So they go get her bike from the garage, but the hearse is in
Oh,
there.
shit. And it's spooky to little Thomas J. She's like, it's just a car.
And so the whole her streamer is missing. Was there any point to that part?
No.
I felt like that was going to go
Because they
somewhere.
were looking for it and he finds the picture. Is
I
that
guess,
why?
yeah. So a picture falls out of her mom and dad, and she tells Thomas J she doesn't remember her at all. And she talks about what she thinks heaven is like.
Right. And like everybody gets their own white horse.
What if you're scared to ride a horse?
It's fine because even if you fall in a cloud.
And they have wings.
yeah, and they're Pegasi.
Yes.
And he's like, that doesn't seem so bad. That's a good thing you feel
hope
that
you
way,
like
Thomas
it, Thomas.
J.
Oh. So she goes back, she gets the picture, and they head out on their bikes.
Right. She goes back and grabs it. She wants to hang on to it. I don't know. I don't know what that grieving must have been like for Harry. That must have been
But
fucking
you'd think
tough.
there would have been pictures out of her mom and dad.
I don't know.
He's
He
been single
probably-
this whole time.
That's gotta be fucking traumatic. He was with her for like a year. She showed up. She got pregnant, had a baby, and died.
I know.
A
That's
couple
wild.
days after she was born.
That's wild.
In the 70s, this man has to raise
In the
a baby.
60s, because it's now 1972 and she's
Oh,
11.
yeah.
So she was
I'm
born
sure
in like
that was like a
61.
fucking thing. I'm sure that was a fucking thing.
That's
I'm
why
surprised.
Gramoo had to move in.
I'm really fucking surprised that there wasn't like some sort of local story because like the funeral home director's young wife.
Well, and that's what I was going to
Died
say is
in
how old was
childbirth.
he supposed to be? Because he
Well,
was
it's
already
family,
a funeral.
It's a Sultenfuss family.
I
And
guess.
Phil is older, and I would imagine there was a father that probably did all this before he died.
And because Phil was in Korea, Harry got it.
He got it. Like he had to carry the business while Phil was away. Yeah, it's a family fucking thing. I'm sure there was a dad at some point.
So Phil comes in and sees Harry getting ready for his date and's like, "Ooh, what's going on here?
What are you doing in here? He's like, I'm just getting dressed for bingo.
And he gives him a noogie.
Oh, hey,
tell me why.
And he's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, great. I'm going with Shelly. And he's like, yes.
He's all stoked. Finally.
Yes.
And this is where he's like, "I'm nervous. I haven't been on a date in 20 years.
He's like, oh, well, let me tell you. A lot of changes.
You don't got to open doors for women. You don't got
Women's
to pull
live,
out chairs.
baby. They
You don't got to
wear
pay.
bras.
Oh,
It's wild out there. Okay, so first of all, we find out not too much later, but we find out that Harry thought that he went to Korea and came back different and that he might not be right.
when
Why
you're
is he
taking love
taking his
advice from him.
Thank you.
Well, and he says, he's like, "What, didn't you say I was a..."
A womanizer.
Yeah.
So you know I've had a lot of women. So it's not working out for you.
But Phil,
because
your
you don't-
personality's different than Harry's too.
Obviously, like you could see that your brother's kind of a square.
Yes.
He's taking her to church bingo, bro.
Church bingo where it's nothing but gray hair
a
as far as the
tuba
eye
player.
can see. So yeah, so he goes out and he passes Vada on the stairs and she's like, "Why are you all dressed up to play bingo?"
Yeah, he's like, sometimes I just want to show
He's
out.
like, "I'm gonna go with Shelly," and he's like, "She's like, oh well, can I go?"
No.
No, you need to stay and keep Gramoo company.
Right.
So he leaves and she waits a second and then she like sneaks over to Thomas J's
She
house.
sneaks out and she's like, at the window while they're watching like Gunsmoke or whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah,
And, like,
gets his attention through the front window.
he comes out. He's like, my mom will kill me if she finds me out here. So let's take off.
Let's go run down to the church because she's like, oh, pacifist, bedwetter. She starts calling him names.
Hey, I don't do that anymore.
So he follows her, and there's like they're literally just playing bingo. Like there's nothing to spy
there's
on.
nothing untoward. They literally went to bingo. I mean, they're having a good time. It's a nice date, but she's like, hold up, hold on a second. I just thought of something.
I had a terrible thought.
I'm probably going to be putting makeup on some of these people very soon.
And he's like, why do you think these seats were empty?
Oh!
So Shelly makes her intentions clear, and they're about to kiss when Vada shouts.
She's like, you could be in a room with 100 men and not like any of them, or be in a room with one man and he'd be everything you want.
And now I do have to say, I think she's definitely imagined a different personality for this man than he has.
I think she might be projecting a little bit on Harry, but like Harry's
he's
cute.
a nice enough guy.
Well,
he's cute. He's cute with his daughter.
Once we get to the 4th of July, that seals it.
Yes,
that
true.
seals
True,
it right there. So this is a good warm up. I feel like. Church bingo, she's trying to warm him up to this whole thing or whatever, and like she's about to get the kiss, but
Vada out there, bingo.
Oh, and then these two old men
they fucking almost fist fight each other.
Donnybrook.
Vada and Thomas run back home because they're like, oh shit.
I know, he's like, I gotta go home.
Yeah.
My mom's gonna notice I've been in the bathroom for a long time.
So Vada's lying in bed that night on top of the covers, fully dressed. She hears Dad and Shelly come home. And Dad does not open the door for Shelly and leaves her awkwardly sitting in the car.
Like, are you mad at me?
She's like, you're not opening doors. And he's like, oh.
So I talked to Phil. At least it's like, right.
He tells her right off the bat, I'm not
like,
actually.
No games.
Yes.
Phil told me about like women's lib and shit and whatever. And she's like, oh.
Okay.
No.
I get it.
I get it, but no. I'm like.
So she tells him she had a good time, and he's like, yeah, I haven't had a bingo partner in ages. And she invites him in to see her little camper.
Yeah. And then she's like, you want to dance?
I know. And he's like, in here. She's like, here's where we are.
Bah! She like
kicks that table down to make some space.
Shabab. I only have eyes for you.
So she asks about what happened to the wife because he's like, I haven't dated since my wife died.
Exactly.
And this is where we find out she had complications during childbirth. She died 2 days after Vada was born.
And she asked him, like, did she get to see her?
And he's like, I brought her in the room and she opened her eyes. So yeah, I think so.
Right.
So she never even got to hold her baby.
No, she just like creaked her little eyes open and saw a baby and died. Like, poor thing. Like, that's
I know.
Fucking no wonder Harry's a little
Yeah.
I feel like Harry might have been a little
Before.
But
that was maybe his only relationship. We don't know.
It could have been.
Idea.
Could you imagine like this Hollywood slut? Because we're going to talk about that later. This Hollywood slut like breezing into town. Like, where did they fucking meet?
Into Pennsylvania?
Bingo? I fucking doubt it.
I know. How did he? Did it even say in My Girl 2 how they met? I feel like it did, but I didn't take any notes.
I don't know. I didn't note it in my mind, and I feel like it really didn't.
Not.
Like, people just kind of talked about, oh, and then she met your father. Like, how?
How? Good question.
Was he out there fucking living it up? Was he doing Rumspringa? I don't know. Like, he's not Amish.
Amish. That would be hilarious.
But he acts like it a little bit.
So they're kissing, and she's like, ooh, good at kissing and dancing. I'm very optimistic.
What that dick do?
But the cuckoo clock chimes, and she don't get to find out what that dick do tonight.
Nope,
because he wants to go.
I better go.
And he leaves her camper looking all
I know,
dreamy-eyed.
like all dazed and dreamy-eyed.
And now, were they a thing in Trading Places? Wasn't that them?
Oh, yes. I know Jamie
They
Lee
were both
for
in
sure.
it. I feel like there was at least a scene where there were, because she was supposed to be a sex worker in that one, right? Wasn't she in Trading Places? And the old men hired her to like,
oh my God,
set him up.
I could be.
I haven't seen this in so long.
I don't. We're gonna have to look it up if we take another break.
But I feel like this is the second time there was like that
Maybe.
Dan Aykroyd got to make out with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee.
So
but yeah, like he leaves or whatever, and she's like, "We should do it again."
And he's like, "You know what? I'm tired of bingo. Maybe we should try that drive-in of yours."
Oh,
So back to the writing class, and Rhonda and Justin want to lead the class in a group meditation before we begin.
Oh yes, they want to like feel
Send your vibes
the
out to the group.
vibes. Everybody hold hands.
And they turn on
do
like
the
some
vibes.
Indian music. And they hold hands, close their eyes, try to feel what the other person is feeling without speaking any words. And so the teacher asked what Vada felt, and she's like, I felt Justin's hangnail. He's like, no,
like
what's in my soul,
in my
man? Feel my
soul."
aura. And
She's
she's
like,
like,
I don't think I'm allowed to.
so they try it again, and now she's thinking about her Gramoo's hangnail that got infected and how she didn't think that was so insignificant.
Right, but it like traveled to her vocal cords and ruined her singing voice.
It
I
clearly
don't know
did
if
not.
it
She's
did.
singing.
Thank you. Thank you. She got up there. Well,
She out
she
there
about
belting
to.
it. Yep.
She about to.
And that night she's all restless in bed, and she goes into Gramoo's room and like holds her
She
hands
sits there
and tries
to try to feel her aura. Like it.
so
Aw.
cute.
Aww.
So now she's out grocery shopping with Dad for the 4th of July barbecue, and they run into Shelly.
Oh shit.
And Dad he doesn't even say Vada push the cart. He goes from pushing their cart to pushing Shelly's cart and just leaves Vada with this full ass cart of shit to try to
I
push.
know.
And
Like
she rams
gets
it
all
up his
mad. She's like
fucking heel.
He's like, hey.
And so
Oh.
and she hands him that big old can of prunes. Hey, Dad, didn't you say you like really needed prunes real bad?
Whatever. Throw whatever you want.
And she just
into
starts
the cart.
whamming cans into the fucking cart as hard as she can.
Me and my friend Becky, I think, did that to my mom one time, or her mom. One of our moms in a store, we ran up with a big old thing of Depends. Like, hey,
Didn't you say you needed these, ma'am?
we found your diapers.
So now it's national anthem time. They all
yes.
stand around and sing the national anthem to
We
Dad
sing the
playing tuba. And a Mustang rolls up out front.
Shit, blasting Credence on the 4th of July.
And these dudes get out and they're like looking in the camper windows.
Oh, hey, that guy's so greasy. He's so greasy.
And Harry's back there cremating the burgers. Making
That's
them
what I do.
charcoal briquettes.
That's what I do. Which made me think, do they also have a crematorium on site?
Right?
Is this a 6 Feet Under situation?
I don't know.
That was such a good show.
It was. That's
It
up
really
now
was.
streaming. We need to rewatch that shit.
I don't know if I can.
I know. It's
I
heavy.
don't know if I can. It was
It's good, but it had
It was
heavy
really good.
moments.
It was really heavy, and like the ending was perfect. And
Yes.
I don't know if like. I
What
don't
if
know
it
I
doesn't
could
hold
do
up
it
the
again.
second time?
What if it doesn't? I want to remember it like
ruin
I
it.
remembered it, just like a fucking funeral.
So before the dudes come up, Shelly's saying grace. Rub-a-dub-dub. Thanks for the grub.
Yay, God. Is that's where that's from? I guess.
Is it from? It must have come from something before.
Well,
this.
I'm just saying, like the reason that you say
Why
it,
we
is
say
not,
it,
Yeah,
yeah,
is it not from? Is
probably.
it also from The Simpsons?
maybe.
I feel like it was.
This
on
is
The
for sure
Simpsons.
where I got the "Do you like seafood?"
Seafood. Yes, I wrote that down too. Yes, indeed. And she's like, "Oh, attractive."
So Shelly sees these dudes walking up, and she like
She's like,
runs
oh,
over.
shit. Like,
Danny.
what? Yeah, Danny. Like, what are you doing here? And he's like, "Hey, baby, that's my camper."
And she's like, "No, you
I've
got the
been living in
Camaro, and this is where I live."
It's a Mustang, baby. It's a
Oh, yeah,
Mustang.
the Mustang.
It's a Stang.
So she's like, "Well, great. Now I got to introduce you to my boss."
Right. So this is the Sultenfuss family. He's like, Vada Sultenfuss, tough break. She's like, I like my name. And Uncle Phil's like, yeah, yeah.
And Danny's telling them Shelly ripped off his camper, and that's what she's like, "But you got the Mustang." And he goes, "I got a copy of the property settlement right here."
But then Harry comes up like, you know what? You need to remember the good times you had with the camper.
It will live on in your heart forever.
Right. You need to think of the good times.
And he's like, "Is this guy boinking you?"
Oh, real nice, Danny.
And Harry's like, "Look, you're not taking the camper. It's her home. It's where she lives."
And he was like, who are you? Or no, he hits
He's like,
him
"Give me
'cause
the keys." And she's
Right.
bam!
Yeah,
Just
and
fucking
he hits
gut
him and
punch.
The other guy's like, hey, what'd you do that for? He's like, hey, who are you? I'm his brother.
Well, good.
Oh, you'll be visiting us often then, right? Because I'm going to bury him in my front yard if he tries to take our camper again.
And Phil leans over to Vada. He's like, Your
father is a savage. See, this is what
Yeah.
did it for Shelly.
Yeah. She's like,
This is what she thought he was cute. She had a good time. She likes the family dynamic.
Right.
She likes Vada. She likes Phil. She likes the whole situation. But this, Now she wants to fuck Harry.
And why is the next scene nighttime? Because they're just leaving.
I know. I wrote that
Did he
same
stay
thing. I
for
was
dinner
like, I
after he
guess
got gut punched?
I guess they got along okay because he stayed for dinner because it's nighttime when they leave. I made that same
Yeah.
note.
I was like, that's weird.
And they're like, hey, bye. We'll see you later. Maybe they did.
I guess.
Maybe they did. That's kind of nice.
And Harry asks her, is it really your camper? And she makes that like so hand motion like, meh.
Well, it's the 70s. Like, she's probably not even allowed to have her own bank account or,
Right.
like, credit card.
So the
right?
fireworks start going off. And he asks her if she loved Danny. And she's like, I would never marry anyone I didn't love.
Of course I did.
And Vada's telling Phil, they're like on the little swing
Right.
together.
They're also watching the thing. And she's like, he must really like her because, like...
I never saw him hit anyone before.
And he's like, you know what? I like her.
And she's good for your father.
She's good for your dad. He used to be really funny.
She's like, my dad was funny?
Yes, he was really funny. And when I see him with Shelly, I see some of the old Harry.
And that's when she has the little internal thought about my Uncle Phil went to the Korean War and he came back with a steel plate in his head. And one time...
Oh, no.
And one time he picked up a radio station in his tooth.
And it was really neat.
So now, next day, Vada's back at the doctor again to check her tonsils, or not her tonsils, but to check her throat for the chicken bone.
Right. And he's like, there is no chicken bone in your throat.
And she's like, are those diplomas on the wall really yours? She's such a fucking brat.
Well, it's a small town. Like, everybody knows everybody
I know.
else. Like, it's a whole fucking thing.
And the nurse gives Thomas a water gun, a.k.a. like a syringe, whatever. Not a needle syringe, but whatever you
but
call
like
those.
a little, it's a syringe, but there's no needle attached to it. And you can make it. And he's like, can I get one for Vada? And she's like, yeah, of course. Do you know why she does this?
And he said, because she's dying. She
Right,
thinks she's dying.
She's not.
And he's
though.
like, do you think she is? And he's like, no.
No, but she does. And
She gets
she's like,
scared because all those dead people in her house.
right. And she's like, you're a really good friend to her.
She's lucky to have a best friend like you. And he's all, she's my best friend. God damn it!
Is this or is this not? Doesn't it give you the bridge to Terabithia? Do you remember reading that?
Oh,
Did
wow.
you read that
I did, but it's
school?
been a long time.
I remember that being, aside from this, like the first, like,
Where a friend dies.
where
in
like
the-
where like the possibility of a friend of yours, like at a young age, could die.
Yeah, no, I don't remember that at all.
I didn't have any of that happen until I was in high school, except for that girl that got shot. But I wasn't really close with her. She wasn't like my friend. But that was elementary school.
High school was the first time like someone I didn't even really know them. It was like a friend of a friend that died in a terrible accident type of thing. But I don't know that any of my friends when I was a kid ever died.
Well, aside from the elementary school thing, which again, I didn't really know her, but I knew of her because it was elementary school. Everybody
Right.
knows everybody else. And it was a weird thing to have happened. But it wasn't until high school. But even then, I wasn't super close with either of or any of. And it wasn't until I was like a junior or a senior.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
I
So they
don't know,
go
whatever.
frolicking off. He squirts her in the hallway with his little syringe and they go running
That's
off
right.
into the
They
woods.
go to have a good, nice summer, some fun.
And they find a beehive.
Uh-oh.
And what are we going to do? We're going to squirt it with
I know,
water.
but oh shit. It wakes him
no,
up. and
there's bees in
and
it.
he's
It's a
allergic to
fucking beehive.
Run for your fucking life, literally.
And
Thomas
she loses
J.
her mood ring in the fray, and
they
they
can't
jump
look
into the
for it.
lake.
Nope.
And
They run straight off the dock and jump in the water.
And she comes home all soaking wet, and Dad's like, "We're going to the carnival. Be ready in 10 minutes."
Shelly's coming.
Wah, wah. So they get to the carnival, and Shelly asks her favorite ride, and she's like, "The freak show." And her dad.
She liked Shelly up until now. I mean, like,
until
I
she
didn't
liked
have
her
that-
dad.
I didn't have that happen to me when I
Mm-hmm.
was younger, where either of my parents were dating
Right.
because they were together until my dad died.
I was mean
so
to my
didn't-
stepdad for sure.
I would
so,
imagine.
Yeah.
I would imagine if you were that age that it would be weird. It would be weird for me now if my mom, like, out
Started
of nowhere
dating.
started dating. It would be weird for me, and I'm 42 years old.
Yeah. So the goldfish, she plays the goldfish game, which I definitely played and definitely won a goldfish.
I
from
won
the
a goldfish from
carnival
that.
game.
Yep. And I did it multiple times. It either lasted way longer than you would expect it would, or it died immediately as soon as you got home.
Yeah. So and Vada clocks Shelly's new ring, and she's like, "Oh, did
where'd
you win
get
that?"
Yeah, did you win that at the carnival tonight,
And
Shelly?
she's like, "We've got something to tell you."
Harry.
And I'm sorry, the way he is with his daughter, I really feel like before he proposed, he would have talked to his daughter
about like, we're seeing each other. We really like each other. We love each other.
And
How
the
would
way
you
Shelley
feel
was,
about...
it seems like she would have come to Vada,
Right, or
like one-on-one or something,
or
and
she
said,
would have approached Harry and said, like, look, you really need to
Yeah,
talk
we
to
gotta do
Vada
this.
about, like, how
Yeah.
would you feel about Shelley joining our family? Like,
and
not
she's
at
like
the carnival.
so shocked she drops her damn goldfish.
Oh no, my goldfish is gonna fucking die. Do you want us to get you another one? No, I would never replace my goldfish.
And they share a look. So now Shelley wants to ride the bumper cars, and Vada's like, "Yeah, I'll get
Let's
on them.
fucking
let's
do it.
fucking bump, bitch."
Yeah, steely
she
wheelie automobile. I'm gonna fucking mow you down.
And she does. She's like mean mugging her and fucking ramming her
Bop,
with the
bop,
thing.
bop, bop, bop.
And why does Shelley's face look
I
like
know,
Michael
she's
Myers
like-
is behind her?
I know.
She's so scared of
Yes,
this
she's
11-year-old
like, oh my god,
in a bumper
Oh
car
my
going
God.
2 miles an hour.
It's just bumper cars, Shelley.
You
Like,
can't
do you
get
not
hit that hard.
understand what is happening right now? I feel like Shelley would.
Would get
That
it.
face is not warranted. Shelley would understand.
She just
what
needs
is
to get it out
happening
of her
here. Be like,
system.
okay, bump my shit.
Yeah.
Get it out of your fucking system.
So the next day, Vada rides her bike to Thomas J's house, and she gets invited in, and we
The
see
mother.
his mom's sweet little. Did you make your bed? And she wipes off his little
You got
milk
a milk
mustache. And she tells Thomas J she's running away. She's going
Yes.
to California to live with the Brady Bunch.
But they already got too many kids, so you got to live with the Partridge.
Yeah, because he's like, "Can
family.
I come?" And she's like, "No, they have too many kids. They live with the Partridge family."
They
And he's
already
all,
have too
"Really?"
many kids, Vada. Vada.
So they ride their bikes into the woods, and he suddenly stops, like after a while, and sits down. He's like, "Look, I'm tired. We passed this place
I'm
twice
tired of
already.
running away."
We're not going anywhere."
Yeah.
And she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Why are you running away?" "Oh, because my dad gave Shelley a ring."
Oh, that's great. I like
He goes,
Shelley.
"Was it a decoder ring?" She's like,
Yes,
"You're such
that's
a
right.
R word."
Right.
And he's like, "Why? Why? I think she's nice. I think
Yeah.
she'll be a good mom." Like,
You get a mom.
yeah.
She's like, no, I don't.
So you're not
Thomas,
listening to me,
You're
Thomas
not
J.
getting it.
And we find out why she's so mad in a minute, because he goes home and she comes home. She closes the door like she's run away and no
slamming
one's
it,
noticed.
Like no one's even noticed that she's been running away all day. But
I did this
girl, but you're allowed to be out until
shit. I ran away and nobody noticed because I ran
Dark
away in the
time.
daytime.
I ran away when I was like when my mom noticed and like it was a whole thing. It was
No,
a
nobody
whole
noticed.
fucking
I climbed
thing.
out my window and went and like hung out in the side yard, like hiding for hours and hours, waiting for like to hear the screams and the commotion. And nobody
yeah,
ever
no,
came to
there
my
was
room
none
to
of that.
see that I was gone.
Oh no, it was like
No.
a whole fucking thing. It was dramatic. It was dramatic. And that's not counting the time that I snuck out of my window and I was walking down the street to like my friend's house and I saw a car that looked like the commuter van that my dad drives. And I was like, oh, that looks like my dad's thing. And it was my dad. And I was like,
Busted.
I was busted.
So now we find out why she was grouchy, because in the morning she wakes up screaming,
I'm hemorrhaging.
and Shelley intercepts
like,
and
wait,
is like, "Wait, did
how
it
old are
happen
you?"
in the bathroom?"
Yeah.
How old are you?
11 and a half.
She's like,
it's
"It's
okay.
And so she has a little talk with her,
She tells her everything.
because she's like, "My mommy and daddy did that.
She tells her everything. I mean, I guess. Okay.
You're about to get married to her dad, so all right."
She is assuming the responsibility
Right.
because clearly Harry has not had this conversation with her.
No.
She needs a mother in this moment.
Yes.
She needs a woman in this moment.
And the
'Cause Harry's
doorbell
not
rings,
doing it.
and it's little Thomas J.
I don't want to see him.
And she's like, "It's not fair. Nothing happens to
I
boys."
know. And she ends up going down there and is like, get out of here.
Oh, she like pushes him down.
Don't come back for 5 to 7 days.
And like, there's no way she could have known, but still.
I know.
So now there's a funeral, and Vada's supposed to be watching Gramoo, but she goes to peep on what Dad and Shelly are doing, and Gramoo gets loose.
She goes to the bathroom.
Well, she says she's going to the bathroom, but then she just
Well,
goes
I feel
and
like
looks
she
at.
was going to,
maybe.
but then she hears them, and
Possibly.
it's like she goes to spy. But Gramoo gets loose. I made the exact same note.
She wanders into the funeral, picks a rose off the coffin.
One for me and one for my baby.
It's 2:45.
Yeah, she's
There's
giving
no
it-
one in the place.
Oh no.
So yeah, she sets him up, Joe, and Vada's like, "Oh shit!"
Oh no.
And Dad and Shelly run in and grab
I'm
her,
so
and he
sorry. He's like,
apologizes.
do you have any idea how upset those people are? Like, it was your responsibility to watch her, but you're
I know.
macking with your girlfriend in
Seriously,
there.
you weren't doing nothing.
Come on.
So
You're
now,
working right now,
yeah, she was
Harry.
supposed to be.
Harry.
So she storms out, and she and Thomas J go to the little pier in the willow tree, and she asks him, "Why do people want to get married?
He's like, well,
You just have to when you get old."
have to once you get older.
And
It's
she's like,
true.
"Well, I'm gonna marry Mr. Bixler," and he's like, "That's against the law. He would
Right?
just give you all A's."
I know, and like that wouldn't be fair to anybody else.
And she wants to know, "Have you ever kissed anyone?" And he's like on TV? Yeah. No. Well, maybe we should kiss
Just to try it.
just to see. Well, but I don't know how. Let's practice on our arms.
She's like, all right, now close your eyes.
And she threatens him with her
You
fist.
shut
Close
the
your
fuck
eyes.
up. You close your fucking eyes.
1, 2,
Two.
2.5, 3. And it's like the fastest kiss ever.
And his little face, his little adorable
His
fucking
eyes
face.
get all bright, like-
little Macauley Caulkin.
He suddenly discovered girls
shit.
at this moment.
Oh shit.
And so it gets really awkward and quiet,
It's
and she's
cute.
like, say something. And he's like, I
don't
pledge
know.
allegiance
To
to
the
the flag.
flag,
And they
yeah.
both stand up and do the pledge.
Because
they
it's
don't.
not like that. It's just like they were just practicing.
She's
You
like,
know.
you better not tell anyone.
You better not either.
Spit on it.
So they do. They're not only blood brothers,
They're spit siblings.
and they're spit siblings.
And then and they're like, see you tomorrow. And he stops her and he's like, hey.
Would you think of me? Aw.
For what?
If it doesn't work out with Mr. Bixler.
She's like, I guess. And she smiles and waves. Oh.
Oh.
And I just wrote, oh my God, no. Don't.
I know.
It's too sweet.
I know. I was like, oh, he's a dead boy.
He watches her right off. And now that he's like got a little crush on his
I
best
know.
friend, he decides to go into the woods alone to find her
Get
mood
her
ring. And why this little shit? There were bees in the hive the other day. Why do you not think there are still bees in the hive?
Because he's 11 years old. Like, he's not fucking thinking of this shit. And really, for being allergic to everything, his folks are
Just
pretty
let him loose.
permissive.
He ain't got no fucking EpiPen. It's 1972.
No! That's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean,
the Senates are pretty
in
loose.
a way, it's directly Vada's fault that Thomas J is dead.
Absolutely.
But in a way, I feel like his parents should have
It's
been...
everybody's fault that Thomas J is dead.
somebody should have been-
Everybody's fault.
These types of things are why we now no longer let our children roam the forest until the
'Cause you
street lights
can't.
come on.
You can't.
Because
Well,
you don't know
there's
what
no-
they be doing. They be out there
there's no
kicking
wood-
beehives.
Wooded areas. Well, my kid's not allergic. Well, I don't know if my kid's allergic.
Mine's
I don't
never
think
been
so.
stung by a
He
bee.
eats honey.
Yeah,
I
mine
feel
can
like
eat
if
honey.
you could eat honey, you're not allergic to bees, right?
That seems like it makes sense.
That's logic. And
So of course he goes and he kicks the hive, and then apparently he also has a hearing problem
I know because he got
because he's out there scrabbling in the leaves. He finds the mood ring, but like it's bzzz
I know
all
and
around
he's like,
him.
oh God, no!
And like it wasn't necessary for him to get completely swarmed and stung 1,000 times. If he's
they
allergic to
outran
bees,
it before. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't he run? He needed that ring
He had
because
to
then
get
he
that
was gonna
ring.
get to
and he drops his glasses, and they show the bees all
his
on his glasses.
glasses.
So now, ding dong,
Oh shit! They
Dad
come to-
answers the door, and it's
'Cause
the
it's
police.
the fucking funeral home. So the police come and you know what they're talking about. Because Harry's like, oh, fuck.
So he goes
I'm going to
in,
have to tell my daughter.
and she's feeding her fish.
What you doing there?
And she's
Feeding my
like,
fish.
he's like, come sit down. Vada, something happened to Thomas J last night.
Oh,
he
yeah?
stepped on a beehive. And
Oh,
she's
I
like,
told not to mess with them bees.
Did he
I should
get
go over
stung?
there and yell at him.
yeah, maybe I should go yell at him. And he's all, no,
You
sweetheart.
can't.
You can't.
Oh.
And she's like, he's okay, isn't he? There
No.
were just too many of them.
Oh.
Cut to her. Oh, I got chills.
Oh my God, I know.
Cut to her
like,
running
she's
to
like,
the doctor's office, sobbing.
She's like, it hurts. It
suffocating.
hurts. Like, what hurts, Vada?
The bee stings.
Oh.
So cut to Dad and Arthur rolling the tiny body.
Oh my
of
God,
Thomas
it's so
J.
good. I'm so glad that she was at the doctor's office
Oh,
when they
when they
wheeled
rolled
Thomas
him in.
J's tiny body in the body bag
And
into
Vada's,
her home.
she's locked herself in her room. Shelly's
Oh,
leaving
yeah,
food
she's
outside
like,
the door.
I'm gonna leave some food out here. Like, eat if you want to. She's being real cool.
and little Judy comes by
I know. She's
to
like,
check on her.
she's like, well, she's really upset. She's not really talking to anybody. She's like, that's okay. I just want her to know I'm really sorry about Thomas J.
And can you tell her I came by?
I will.
So now it's Thomas J's funeral.
Oh my God.
Open casket
I
for an
can't.
11-year-old whose face is covered in bee stings.
I can't.
And I'm sorry, Shelly, you're the makeup artist here.
It was 1972. It's not like they had the kind of putty
I guess, but like
that like the guy had in fucking
why
6
do you
feet
have an
under.
open
He was
casket?
the fucking
why?
Because this
It's
is
a
what they
child.
choose. I went to an open casket funeral where the guy got hit by a fucking train.
That's insane.
he
That's
did
insane.
not look messed up.
He
but
didn't
I
look like
stood
Thomas
back.
J.
I just saw the profile, and it looked like a person to me, but I didn't go up there.
And so Shelly tries to get Harry to go talk to Vada, and he's like, "Oh, the funeral's starting." And she's like,
No,
she's 11, and her
she's
only
11
friend in the
years
world
old,
is dead."
And like, you need to. I'm not asking you to stop caring about these people, but do not ignore the living, especially your daughter.
So the minister begins, and Vada creeps out and listens, and she gets closer and closer. She's like on the stairwell, and she's like looking at his little body in the casket.
Oh
and,
my God!
And she wanders in, and she like climbs up on the thing.
You want to go tree climbing, Thomas J? Where's his glasses? His face hurts.
Oh, put his glasses on.
Can't see without his glasses. Put on his glasses.
And apparently there's an extended version of this scene, which I did not watch.
I don't want to see it. I told you, I watched this movie this morning, and I was ready. I had taken a break right before, because he dies every time. I know it's coming. I took a break right before. I readied myself, and like, I did not eat mushroom chocolate because I knew not a good idea. I was ready, and right when he fucking dies, and like right before all this happened, my husband and my son woke up and came out, and I was like, no,
I was
yes,
just about
but yeah.
to be sobbing.
I'm like, you caught me right here, right now, about to cry about this shit, and it was like, it kind of dampened it, which made me feel happy about it, because like, it's upsetting.
Yeah,
It's upsetting.
it is. And so she runs out of the house, and she runs to Mr. Bixler's house, who was just
shit.
on his way to
Who's
the funeral.
gonna
And
be late as fuck to
to
this
a child's funeral that's 3 houses away.
What were you doing? Getting
They were
blown in your
fucking. He was fucking his fucking
Yep.
fiance
Yep.
before going to a
Yep.
child that was
Yep.
his student's
Yep.
funeral.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
Because he's like, she
He's
comes
way
out like
late.
straightening her shit.
He's way fucking late to this funeral. They were
The
talking
minister
about
was-
wrapping it up.
Yes, they were almost done.
Thank you. I thought I was maybe
No,
like
no, he
okay.
should have been there already.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So she runs up all like, I love you, like my dad loves Shelly, and he's like,
No.
and this girl comes out on the porch, and he's
I
like,
was gonna bring her to like the
"Here's
next
my
class. I want her to
fiance."
hear your poem.
so she runs off because
Of
this
course.
is his fiance.
Like everybody for this poor little girl at this moment. I mean, I'm not saying that Mr. Bixler should like entertain
Right.
any of this, but like this poor little girl in this moment.
So she goes to their weeping willow by the lake and climbs it, and she remembers. She has like little
She's
snippets
reminiscing
of their talk about marriage
of Thomas and her mother.
and would you
like,
think of me? Oh.
Oh. And like they still haven't found her yet. It's dark.
And she finally comes. The cops come to the door, and they're like, "And now where did Phil go?" Phil ain't been here.
No.
Phil been here through the whole movie. Phil didn't come to this funeral. And Phil is not in the rest of this film.
Phil's
He
probably
can't
going
handle
through
it?
it. Like,
I don't know.
Either that or they had Phil.
And
like,
he ain't out there looking for his niece. Because they don't
probably
show
had
him.
Phil home with Gramoo.
Maybe, but they don't show him again.
No, they don't. But I'm going to say that Phil was watching Gramoo while all of the drama was happening.
So Vada
That's what I'm gonna
comes
say.
home while Dad's out and
Just
everyone's
walks
out.
in.
And Shelly
The
is
cops
like,
come. The cop shows up like she's dead. He's got
right?
his hat
We haven't
off.
found her yet.
Oh my God. And then like she just walks in and Shelly's like, oh fuck.
So Shelly apparently like gives her a bath because she's all clean now. She's
and
brushing
like,
her
there's no
hair.
cell phone. So she can't tell Harry, who's out there looking for his daughter. That
Right.
They've been found.
So they
she
have their little bonding
bathes her
moment.
and whatever.
And she
Yeah.
tells her she stole the money from her cookie jar. And she's
Forget
like,
about
look,
it.
dedicate your first book to me.
And we're cool.
We're cool.
Yep.
So she tucks her in and Vada wants a hug. So now everything's good with Shelly.
I know.
And Dad comes home and Shelly's like, it's fine. She's
here.
home. She's home.
here. She's home.
So he goes in and gives her a little kiss on the head and
Mm-hmm.
she wakes up. Did I kill my mother?
Whoa. No.
And she's like, the bees killed Thomas J and I killed my mother.
No,
He's
you
like,
didn't,
no.
But like those things,
These things
just
just happen.
Like it's fucked up. But yeah, those things just happen.
So she shows him the picture they found and he tells her about her mom and about how she reminds her of him.
Yep. When you laugh, you sound just like her.
And he tells her how he still thinks of her mom when he sees something he thinks she would have liked. And she says she'll still think of Thomas J whenever she sees a climbing tree.
You should.
So then the next day, or I don't know when, not the next day, sometime later, Dad's eating
Later
breakfast in this cafe when Mrs. Sennett walks by the window.
Right. And she like knocks on the window instead of coming inside. I guess she didn't want to make a scene. I don't know. She was fine.
She seemed fine.
Well, like it's the type of little town where you could like walk out, both of you, and no one's gonna think you're running out on your tab. I guess.
Yeah. Well, and Vada was still in there. We don't see her right away,
Well,
but she's
like
in there
the
paying,
bathroom
yeah,
or whatever.
something.
So he comes out and talks to her, and she's like, "Sometimes I think he's just at summer."
Ugh. And so Vada
I
comes
can't
out
even imagine.
and she gives her a big hug. And she's like, "Oh, by the way, Thomas J had this on him."
We took this from his clutched, cold, dead little.
Right?
Why didn't Harry? Did he give that back to them?
And,
when
like,
they found his little body.
Yeah, you would have thought Harry would have been the one to find it, unless the cops found it near his body and it took a while to get it back to his
She
parents.
said we found this on him. He had this on
So
him.
that would mean is that her dad found it and returned it, knowing
well,
that's
the
her
cops
mood ring.
did, I guess.
Or
Maybe
yeah.
the cops was like, here, he had this ring on him.
Okay, so if the cops return it, that makes sense.
Maybe.
But if the body got to Harry with the ring on it and he gave
I
it to
think
the mom,
cops found it, maybe.
and now it's blue. She gives it back to her,
he
and now
went
it's
to
blue.
heaven.
And she tells her, "You were such a good friend to him. I hope you'll still come by and visit me."
And you never see them again.
No, not in My Girl 2, nothing. And she tells her, "Thomas J will be all right. My mother will take care of
Oh!
him." So sad.
I know.
So the final scene is the writing class, the last day of writing class.
The last day of the writing class, and Vada shows up, and everyone's like, "Hey,
we were
you're
we
here."
were hoping that we would see you on the day, whatever.
And I thought when she goes up to read her poem, I was like, that ring is black again.
Oh, was it?
It looked like it was, but at the very, very
Oh.
end when she was done, I don't
It
know
was
if it
blue.
was the cut, but it was blue. At the end, she reads this whole poem.
And
about
I
Thomas
did not
J.
write it because it's too sad.
No, I didn't either.
But it
was
starts
like
with
the
weeping willow with your tears running down. Why do you
Right,
always
right.
weep and frown? And she goes on to do
Right.
this whole sad poem.
And that little cherub face, that little angel
know.
baby face
I know.
she's got.
And now Judy's waiting outside on her bike, the little third girl.
Yes.
And they ride off to the tune of My Girl.
Ba-ba-dum, 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 ba-ba-dum. Boom, 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 boom. And the last line is the bees in the trees envying me with the honey. Too soon.
Too
Too soon.
So yes, we both watched My Girl 2. So now, how did this movie doom us? I mean,
Child death.
yeah. How did it not?
Losing a friend.
Losing a parent, losing a best friend.
Losing a parent, losing a friend. I didn't lose a parent till I was in my 30s.
Yeah, same. So
I mean,
I can't imagine as well.
not
And she
as a
never even
child.
knew her. She didn't
Well,
lose
no,
her. She never had
even
her.
met her. She thought she killed her.
Right? Oh.
Horrendous. But yeah, right afterwards, I watched My Girl 2 when
Which
she
is
makes
set
out with
2
her cousin.
years later.
Yes.
She makes out with what will be her cousin by marriage.
Yeah, it's not really her cousin.
So she's now friends with little Judy. They're
Yes,
in like
she's
middle
friends
school
with Judy,
or
but Judy still does not want to come
into the dead people rooms of the
No,
house.
And Vada's still real.
She's still
cool
weird
about the
yeah.
death thing. She's got a bigger handle on it, and she's in a. Is it a writing class? Is it a?
I think it's just her English class.
Maybe
I don't know.
it is.
And
but they
Brian
gotta write
Krakow's
about-
there.
Yes, Brian Krakow's there, and he's a dork. But she has to do a writing assignment in which
You talk about
you've
someone
never met
who had
that's
a big
accomplished
accomplishment.
something.
And she
And she
decides her
chooses
mom,
her
even
mother,
though she
but,
doesn't
like-
know if she has any big accomplishments. She died when she was like 25.
She has no memories of her mother.
So I'm not sure why. And they even try to give her an out. Like the teacher tries
Well,
to give her an out.
Right, like you
Her
could
friend's
write about-
boyfriend calls her a bullshitter. Like everybody knows she's
Right.
full of shit. Her mom didn't do nothing.
Right, because what did she say that her mom like foiled Russian spies?
Yes,
or
she was
some
a
shit?
Russian. Yeah, that she's.
But they don't shoot you when you're pregnant. So my dad
yeah.
came and picked me up, took me home. No,
And her dad he can't tell her much. She's got this box of like her mom was an actress. She has like a
Right.
box of playbills
and
of
there's
shows
like a
her mom
bag
was in.
with the date on
and a
there
bag
that
with
she
a
doesn't
date.
know. And luckily, Uncle Phil,
Who's
has
now
moved-
returned. He's back in. Well, he's
yeah,
in California.
It's the same. It's Richard
Mazur or
Mazur
whatever.
But he has moved to Los Angeles.
And so she and Shelly
'cause
buy
that's
her a
where-
ticket to go
Well, yeah,
visit her
'cause Shelley's
uncle.
pregnant now.
Yes, Shelly's
She's
gonna have a
pregnant
baby
now, and she's having a baby. So she's gonna write this thing about her mom. So I should go visit Uncle Phil.
because our mom was from Hollywood. She was an actress
She
in
was an
Hollywood.
actress in Hollywood. How did she get to Pennsylvania?
Again, I do not know. I don't think it ever says. So she meets
Mama
like
was a rolling
her mom's old
stone.
high school friends and whatever, but like there's
but the
no
high school burned
accomplishments.
down.
Right, the high school
No,
burned
she
down.
wasn't. There really wasn't. Like
no, she was young.
She was in a comedy troupe, an acting troupe. She met a guy she thought was like Vada thought was her dad, maybe.
That was her mom's
Which-
first husband.
Yes, because she was married before, which she finds out. And did Harry
Mama
know?
was a rolling stone.
Yeah, Papa
Yeah.
was a rolling stone. Well, that wasn't her Papa.
No,
she
but
finds
yeah.
out because he was like, "No, I didn't want children,"
And that's why we
she
split
wanted
up.
children. And then she went and had children and died because she wanted children.
He's like,
so
I
bad.
thought we had plenty of time, but she
there
must have
wasn't.
known. Like, oh my God. So, and they go, and she meets the kid from Last Action Hero,
Yes.
Austin O'Brien, who's
Yes.
her uncle's girlfriend's son.
Yes, so they're not
So gonna be their
really related.
cousin.
Not really related, but like they have this whole summer romance, and she gets her ears pierced, and they mack it at the La Brea Tar Pit. No, they don't.
Not at the La Brea
Not
Tar
the,
Pits
at
after
the La Brea
that.
Tar. They mack it.
He
at
pretends
the
to
fucking
lose her
airport.
ring. But so that brings up this screenshot I have
Yes.
of. So Patrick from Vintage Video Podcasts said that his favorite piece of trivia is that 1 year before My Girl 2, Austin O'Brien was in Last Action Hero. Both films feature the La Brea Tar Pits prominently. My Girl 2 used the real tar pits. Last Action Hero used a fake Hollywood version. In one film, he actually dropped something in the tar, a fat mafia guy full of nerve gas. And in the other, he just pretends to, which is the mood ring.
We gotta go to the fucking tar
We-
pits, man.
we
I know
drove
we
right
talk
past
about this.
it.
I know.
We live in
I
driving
have always
distance.
wanted to go because of Looney Tunes. We go to the La Brea Tar Pits.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go.
We should.
I don't even know what's going on there. I don't give a shit.
I know.
I just want to go.
We should
We
do
went
it.
by there. We looked.
But we went to the Academy Museum instead.
I know.
'cause
We
that's
got to
where
do
were
the
going.
whole. We got to do the circuit.
When we go stay
We
at
gotta do the
Colt's
circuit.
house,
Yes.
that should be on the list.
Yes. We got to go to the new Museum of Death.
Oh yeah, it moved.
The new place is
well,
bigger
now that I know that car museum across from the
That
Academy
too, they
Museum
got all
has like
kinds of
movie
shit.
cars. I didn't even think about
the
it.
Batmobile, you said?
I just thought it was like
the
old cars.
original?
Yeah.
Yes, I want to see that. We got to do the museum circuit.
There you go.
We could skip the Museum of Tolerance. I've been there. It's sad.
I'm sure it's very sad.
But the
I'm sure
cars
it's
and
sadder
the
than My
tar
Girl.
and the Oscar one, like that's
Yeah,
fine.
those are all fun.
Sadder than My Girl. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it is.
For sure.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So, like, rate, subscribe, review, do all the things.
Do all of
Check
those
out our
things.
YouTube lives.
Leave us
Follow
a
us on
message.
YouTube.
Send us a text.
702-720-3666. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/Doom Generation.
All are welcome.
And until next week.
We'll talk at you next time.
Later,
Doomers.